Hello everyone and welcome back to the Dillonwithablankie channel, where it's another beautiful day for another beautiful challenge. If you haven't guessed it by now, I am a huge fan of JRPGs. Really love a deep story as well as growing characters. I'm also really fond of combat systems that do it different, like Legend of Dragoon and its addition system, or SMT with the press turn system. But imagine, if you could not only control your attacks, but also dodge incoming attacks. Well, imagine no more. You may have forgotten about it, but we have the Mario and Luigi series. The Mario and Luigi games are absolute classics, skill-based attack and defense in every title, and an extremely unique combat system in place that's so much fun. But my personal favorite of these games is Partners in Time. It really has it all. It's funny, charming, challenging. But what if it was a bit more challenging? In Partners in Time, Mario and Luigi get a blast from the past and meet their baby counterparts and work together both in battle and on the field to solve puzzles and rescue the Mushroom Kingdom. But what if we didn't have adult Mario and Luigi? What if we beat the whole game using only the babies? Here are my rules. I must only use the babies in combat. Duh. If Mario and Luigi are forced into an encounter, I must use the lowest damaging attacks I can until both of them die. If Mario and Luigi get into an optional encounter, they must run away. Other than that, everything's allowed. Items, fleeing, and gear. Is it possible? Do baby Mario and Luigi have what it takes to save the day and fix their time? Well, hold on your diapies, babies, because it's baby Mario and Luigi, Partners in Time. Prologue. Tutorials are for nerds. One day, the Mushroom Kingdom was in danger. We begin our journey as the babies in the Mushroom Kingdom of the distant past. In the throne room of Peach's castle, Bowser himself is causing trouble, so it's time to teach him a lesson. No, I'm teaching the lesson. Get out of here, Toadsworth. Baby Mario stomps in Bowser's face, and then the castle is attacked. Flash forward to the present, where the gang are, and apparently they thought it was a good idea to send Peach off alone in a time machine. Oh wait, she brought 2 random toads with her, so it's alright. The time machine returns, but it isn't Peach inside, but this alien thing. Well, guess it's time to fight. Now, I'm not sure if you can lose this fight and still move on, but I just beat it as Mario and gained the 6 experience, leveling him up to 2. The only level he gets. Right after the fight, we gain Luigi and head off to explore a, time hole. Yes, that is what they named it, a time hole. As I watch this cutscene, I'm also realizing that the Luigi's Mansion theme is just EGAD's theme, which means Luigi doesn't have a theme song in his own game. Even Toad has a theme song in that game. We enter said time hole, and after we make it through, we are introduced to Suitwell. I hate him. You ever get pissed about Navi in Ocarina of Time? Stuffwell is Navi on crack. Everything you do or pick up for the first time, he has to explain to you. In visceral detail. Jumping? Tutorial. Badge? Tutorial. Pissing? Anyway, this Toad collapses in front of us and we leave him to die. Neat. A little ahead, we are forced into one final fight with the boys. It's super easy and no one levels up, and from now on, Mario and Luigi will not be used in battle. Stuffwell explains goddamn items now, and we finally get to move on. The boys find themselves in combat with the main enemies of the game, Shrooms. They look like little, well, yeah. This fight is unwinnable as you auto-lose after the turns on the ship end. Then, we move over to the real heroes. Aboard Bowser's ship, the babies get into action. We nab a few items on the way out, and now it's time for our first battle. Oh, look at them just vibing. God, dude, I love this idle animation. The babies battle against injured Shrooms. Here you can really see how the combat works. You can jump on enemies, and if timed right, you gain a boost in damage. Also, on the enemy's turn, they attack, and you have the ability to dodge. On certain moves, you can even counterattack to cause damage. And finally, the linchpin of the run, Bros items. These items use both characters to send in unique barrages of attacks. The first we get is the green shell, which we kick back and forth until it disappears. We escape on a Bowser ship, and it gets shot down, putting us in our first dungeon, Bowser's Castle. I avoid the enemies here since we don't have the babies with us right now, but we soon get them, and get a tutorial on how to use them. Now that we have them here, these are all their stats. Notice how every stat is like double on the adults, who are still only level 1 and 2. Oh, hey, at least Luigi gets to be number 1 for this run. Love you, buddy. The reason the babies are so flimsy is because the babies are meant for extra damage on top of what the bros do, as well as being a last resort to revive the brothers if they go down. Ahead, we bump into Magic Koopa, who summons enemies for us to fight. We get another tutorial forcing perfect hits, but once we get past those, I fail the jump attack in a strategic order until Mario is down without killing the Goomba or the Boo. These guys won't leave Baby Mario alone, so I let him get knocked down so Luigi picks him up and he takes the hit. I then revive Baby Mario, and we finish the fight with the babies easily. The fights are tough with us only doing 1 damage, so it's a good thing I have these shells to circumvent how little damage we do. I fight a few of the guys here to make sure there's a path for the adults. The adults get caught a couple of times, but I'm able to run away. After some puzzles, we open this little chest, which looks like a cute little throwback to Super Mario RPG. I don't think there's another chest block like that in this game. We nab a piece of a cobalt star and return to the present. Chapter 1. Piracy is only illegal if you get caught. In the castle, I run around and gain every item I can, and then confront Egad. The shard makes the alien angry, so we just decide we gotta collect them all. Then, Stuffwell teaches us to equip badges. A new important place opens up for us. The shops. We can now buy items, bros items, gear, and badges. If we have the coins, and as we progress through the story, more stuff will unlock. My first purchase is 2 wallet badges for the adults. This makes it so they lose less money when they run from battle, the only badges they will wear the whole game. Now, back to the past where we find ourselves in a forest. We gain a lot of money here, and it's a great place for me to learn the combat. I fight a few enemies and level up, getting all our stats barely into double digits. Ahead, we run into the most horrifying thing I can imagine. It's a toad infused with a tree. Yes, this toad was with Princess Peach and explains that the Shroobs are evil people storing ROMs for old games that aren't sold or accessible anymore in a place called Vim's Factory. Huh. As resident Nintendo mascots, we have to destroy this place before people end up downloading games like Mario and Luigi, Partners in Time, when they don't have a physical copy. The toughest of the enemies here are these pipe plants who boast some dumb high health, which you will find is a trend for this game. We level up to 5 and head into Vim's lair. We run into some typical leet speakers, exactly who I expect to be illegally downloading ROMs, Raffle. These hammer bros are our first real battle, and I spam my fire flowers a lot so we get burn damage on top of regular damage. They go down pretty easy and we get to level 6. Once these boys are freed from the evil clutches of not buying Nintendo products that Nintendo doesn't sell anymore, they hand us hammers and we learn how to drill in the ground to go through the grates, as well as hitting switches with hammers. This is immensely useful because we can skip encounters with this ground technique. You can also find these little X's on the ground to dig up beans, which will be useful for later. Oh, sorry, hold on. Bean tutorial. Pay attention. In the vents, we get a hammer using tutorial. It just expands on the jump dodging, really. Now we will sometimes have counters that require hammer use. It's a little weird because the babies need time to ready the hammer before they can swing it. Nevertheless, we demolish any foe here. At the end of the lair, we find Wiggler, supplying these evil pirates with some of the most classic games. For free? Wiggler's a tough opponent. Not because he's super hard, but because he has an enormous health pool! Like, good God, why does he have this much? Wiggler has this cup in front of him that he'll drink from on his turn. And depending on what you do will affect the action. If it's untampered, he will do a UFO attack, which is tough to dodge when it's not on a DS. Sorry Nintendo, totally recording this on my DS. The 2 guys on either side will constantly pull out mushrooms at the end of their turn. If you hit one that holds a gray mushroom, he will drop it in the drink. This will cause Wiggler to lose a turn when he drinks it. Should you hit the regular looking one, Wiggler will then gain 86 health? What the? Yeah, a huge amount of health back considering I'm only doing like 20 per turn. This dude has 200 HP, so that's most of it back, meaning I cannot ever have it drink a heal or I'm practically restarting the battle. I'm forced to heal here and there, not being good at the UFO laser dodges, but after 30 minutes of battle, we get there and we win the fight. We gain 2 sweet levels from this battle, putting us at 8, and gain the 2nd star shard, which is immediately stolen from us. Returning to the present, we check our stats, and we are now nearly comparable stat-wise to the level 1 and 2 adults. Yay. Chapter 2. We have to exit from where? First off, let's check the shop. It's got some new items, which include ice flowers and the smash egg. The smash egg is so hard to use that I never buy them. But the ice flower is great. This bad boy lowers stats randomly, meaning we have a chance to lower attack, defense, or speed. Maybe even all 3, so I always make sure to stock these guys. The cannonballer will not work for us since it requires all 4 bros active to use it. I stock up on some life shrooms just in case, and next door I upgrade the babies to the new preferred pants. The badge selection isn't great, and coins are scarce, so that's it for shopping. Anyway. The Toadsworths teach us a new move, the spin jump, to help cross gaps. With that, we head into the new time hall, bringing us to Yoshi's Island. In a house nearby, we meet Kylie Koopa, a reporter. And then we meet all of the Yoshis who reside on the island who are hiding in this attic. For some reason, they flee outside of the safe house and get eaten. Yes, straight up eaten. By this guy.
I can explain.
Kamek is up ahead and setting the island on fire. So we gotta stuff baby Mario full of water and smack him with a hammer to put it out. I pray no one awoke their inflation kink to this. The enemies aren't too bad. A lot of learning needs to be done here, and I have to get used to my top screen being on the side for the sake of this recording. I learned in my foray that certain Bros items cannot hit floating enemies. Fire flowers, ice flowers, and shells cannot hit a character that's in the air. A little ways in, we fight this Tiki enemy who summons a rain cloud to recover HP. I spent a good bit of time trying to figure out how to deal with him, since he heals more than I can dish out. Eventually, I stun him with the hammer, which I found out is the thing. Gonna keep that in mind for fights going forward. After a short cookie break, we fight Kamek, who isn't Magic Koopa, which is what I said earlier. Just ignore that, I'm not editing that. His attacks aren't very special. Just summoning some spike balls that we have to knock back, meaning we must survive a barrage of attacks. Once we nab the real one, we have a chance to knock him off his broom, and when we do that, we hit him as much as possible with ice flowers, dropping all of his stats. Funny thing is, when he reduplicates himself, you can still see the stat drop on his real self, giving him away easily. Oh yeah, sometimes instead of spike balls, he summons mushrooms that heal us if we don't hit them. Abusing this, we hit him easily, without using many items at all. After the battle, we level up to 9. The babies are pretty even stat-wise, but pretty soon we'll see a divergent in that. With Kamek dealt with, we corner Prince Bowser, who eats the Cobalt Shards, so we abuse him to force them out. Just then, the Shroobs and that big monster show up, and they make that boy kaiju-sized. We get eaten whole and wind up in the stomach of this thing. And I just want to point out, I think it's adorable that the most bean-dense place in the game is in his stomach. I love it. We gotta save the Yoshis trapped inside so they can help push this kidney stone. Most are some cute puzzles, but this one requires a fight. The hammer stun works great here, ensuring we get the most turns. I also enjoy how the guy's RC attack sounds like Wario in Mario Kart. I don't know why I get that in my head. Here I go! After beating another one, the Yoshis clear the urinary tract, meaning we can go down the orifice. Instead of orifice, we level up to 10 and have now just barely passed the adults stat-wise. As we head in deeper, we find the other Toad who was with Peach. He shows us this drawing he made that is for some reason covered in shit. At the innermost chamber of this dude, we find the next boss, Sunnyside, a giant egg. Unaware of what I'm getting into, I just toss some ice flowers around and realize I can hit the eggs. Hitting Sunnyside himself only does 1 or 2 damage due to his high defense. I see one of the eggs crack, so I start hitting them to break them open. I'm unable to break multiple open before he throws them, so I spend each turn breaking 1 egg open at a time. And once we free enough Yoshis, they push the kidney stone on top of Sunny. This will topple him for like 2 turns, letting us do 8 damage? So after doing that, I realize it's completely pointless to rely on the egg breaking mechanic, so I just start dumping green shells into his ass. I do this for the rest of the fight, which takes a while, but eventually we net the win. Then we finally open up his booty hole, which is right next to his heart, I guess. Back on the island, Prince Bowser is disgusted by how we left the monster, and it makes him throw up the shards. We take them back and return to the present. Chapter 3. How much HP? Back in the shop, we have some new items. Red and green peppers. Red increases attack, and green increases defense. They're a bit pricey, so I'm avoiding those for now, but I will get some later. I sell off all of the items I can't use for some extra coins. I buy the Big POW badge and equip that on Baby Mario. This badge will grant us an attack boost when we receive a great ranking on our Bros items. And I also put the Shroom badge on Baby Luigi for a little extra healing. We talk to EGAD and show him our shit-covered drawing. The Toadsworths are at it again. And they teach us how to become the Brother Ball. This makes us go fast and able to go in small places. Using this new power, we open the way into the castle sewers, where a robed figure sneaks off into the shadows. We follow him and find out it's Fawful! What game is he from? This guy is our secret shop, for spinning those beans we've been collecting. He has some of the best badges in the game that we will come back to. For now, I buy the Rough badge, which increases our damage output, but also the damage we receive, and I never equip it because I just love wasting these beans. I stock a few red peppers and head into the next time hole. The hole spits us out in the desert, where we get chased by a ton of Shroobs. Another thing I'd like to point out, the physical comedy in this game is great. While we're getting expositive, there's silly stuff just happening in the background. And it's crazy how much character guys who speak like this have. The enemies here are one-hit KOing me, so I end up running from every battle instead of dumping out all my life shrooms to beat them. After a lot of running and puzzles, we end up inside and spy on the Shroom meeting. Oh, come on, they all look like little cocks. Oh, hey, they got Petey Piranha for this game? Nice! We enter the arena and meet the Shrewboid Brat, and I'm in love with the Shrew that just stands there with his mouth open. Now this is where the game starts to ramp up. The bosses till now had high HP, yeah, with Wiggler like 200 and Kamek and Sunny around 400, but this guy, 1,100 health! A ludicrous amount! A good round of Ice Flower does like 30 damage. After the defense drop, I pop my first Pocket Chomp. This item has us run in from each side of the screen, and we have to press the corresponding jump button to whoever is running on screen. Since we only have the two, it's actually not too bad. The Brat is a simple attack where he has the crowd show who to throw the lollipop at, and then you just jump over it when he throws it. But the first time he pulls out this attack where he throws fireballs, I don't know what the tell is for who's getting it, because I just can't be bothered to pay attention to that right screen and the main screen. I get hit by the fireball, get one shot, and have to start over. My strat is simple. I Ice Flower. A lot. This keeps his stats lower to where we won't take killing blow damage should we get hit. I still don't know how to tell that one attack, so I just try and react fast enough to block it, which, like, never works for me. Eventually I get low on Ice Flowers and start supplementing the green shells to save stock while his defense is lowered. The Brat starts doing a large amount of attacks during its turn, like throwing 3 lollipops or doing 3 of those item things. After my last Ice Flower, it's all up to green shells to save the day. And after about 25 minutes, we finally finish him off and level up to level 11. That was just a taste of what's to come. That wasn't even the final boss of this area. We get sent down a pit, and luckily there's a shop for us to restock. I purchase a ton of healing items and buy perhaps the most important badge in the whole run, the Dire Pow badge. I equip this to Baby Mario. Its effect is that at a quarter of our health, Baby Mario's attack power is massively increased. I'll be using this on him for the rest of the game, so we can actually do damage. Oh, I also buy a metric ton of Bros items, so we don't run out in the next fight. The enemies are tough to avoid with the adults moving around, so we end up in a few battles with these boos, who steal our items and run if they get our items. They aren't awful alone, but they always spawn in teams of 5, making it a true test of patience. A long section later, we find Petey and engage in battle. Petey has a whopping 1,300 HP. On top of that, he starts off flying, meaning we can only jump or use the Pocket Chomps. I went into this battle with Baby Mario in peril, so we do around 70 damage with the first chomp, then like 20 with Luigi. Petey has the dive attack, where a rock hits one of the babies depending on how he moves when he jumps. This will determine where the rocks are going to strike. Once he swaps to being in the ground, he makes these tentacle things come at you and you have to hit them away enough that they break, and he also brings you into this quicksand pit. You just have to jump constantly to avoid being sucked in. Petey's weak to fire, so it will always deal significant damage. This makes the best bet to spam them once he's grounded. Once he flies again, we just have to do what we can with jumping till he swaps back. I get the hang of the fight really well, being able to avoid nearly every move. I get Baby Mario back in a peril so he can do max damage, and keep Luigi healed to res should we need him to do it. We take some hits, but with Baby Luigi, we stay in the fight. Thanks to peril strats, we kept this fight down to 15 minutes. Achieve level 12, and it's at this point I divert Baby Mario and Luigi's stats to make Mario more attack and Luigi more defense, to keep Mario alive. And we get the 3rd star piece. We celebrate victory by finding Princess Peach with, I don't know, some purple shit on her face, and then we head back to the present. Chapter 4, A Prince and a King. We leave Peach in her room and check on the Toadsworths yet again. They teach us the baby spin. We simply spin into the babies and they gain massive air and then float down. They then teach us the baby cakes move, where we run them over with the ball, flattening them and allowing them into small areas. Now to update our stock. I head to the shop, grab the Drain badge, which recovers some health when we damage enemies, and I put this on Baby Luigi. I then restock our items. The mixed flower is available now, but of course we can't use it without a full team. Oh yeah, Bowser wants to be in the game. Relax, dude, the next one they make's about you. He takes the princess and gets the hell out of Dodge. A new time hole opens and going in takes us to Thwomp Volcano. The first enemy is easy to battle. These boxes go in for a low attack that you can jump over, or a high one that you have to hit with a hammer. The desperation move is, just dying, so, easy wins. Somewhere around here, I start keeping Baby Mario in peril all the time for that stat bonus, and we get the babies up to level 14. Hey guys, Dillonwithablankie here. I bet you're wondering why I said level 14 instead of level 13, which is what I had actually leveled up to in that last clip. Well, the answer's quite simple. I don't have enough Patreon subscribers. For only $1 a month, you can help me say my words right better and more often. And it only costs $1 a month on Patreon. That's right, $1 a month, and instead of saying level 14, I'll actually say level 13. Thank you. We reach the summit of the volcano and it starts erupting. We escape to a young Egad's lab where we learn the E in his name stands for Elven. Then, after helping him put out the lava thwomps, he gets an idea to make a water thing. This impression moves over to the present Egad, who builds the water thing. Oh, and take a look at these two. I love that the only difference between the old and young Egad is that their hair color is different, and like there's some lines by his mouth, and the older one's wearing a tie. Egad uses this new machine to douse a fucking volcano. Jesus Christ, dude, just make a gun that kills God or something. Back to the summit, and there's a Thwomp couple who are displeased with the volcano being put out, and they take it out on us. Mrs. Thwomp starts to battle with us, and she starts in a big form. We abuse ice flowers to wear her down, and then she breaks into 4 smaller Thwomps. They all are a little different, so you just need to remember her features to know which one is the one to attack. The battle isn't that extravagant, and we win it pretty easily. Mr. Thwomp calls his wife fat. Then we drop into the volcano. We get a little scene of both Bowsers meeting up and trash-talking each other. Then it's on to the dungeon. The volcano is a perfect grind zone for coins and other materials. There are these spots where the babies float down and collect coins which replenish when you leave and re-enter. There are also these gold enemies that have low health. They typically run away first chance they get, but if you defeat one, you get 100 coins each time. I do not grind any of this stuff, but I just get what I happen to run into. We reach level 15 and then play the slots. It's actually pretty easy to win any jackpot you want. There are 3 separate prizes. 3 mushrooms is 10 coin prize, 3 flowers is 50 coin prize, and 3 stars is a single bean. This is the only way to grind beans in the game, aside from finding the finite amount that's hidden around the overworld. I get into a few battles, but I am hell-bent on avoiding these fire guys. They are insanely strong and fast. One hit is a game ender. As we get deeper, we run into another minigame, this gem collector game. All you gotta do is collect gems as you glide down. The first time is mandatory, but after the first, if you play again, the Thwomp will ask you to get all 50. It's insanely tight trying to get all 50 gems, and the layout changes every time you reload the area. I fail a decent bit, always being shy by like 3 or 5 gems. Also, if you hug the right wall and drop down, you'll find a hidden room where there's a dynamic badge. This badge increases the power of Bros items, but it makes you spend 2 items instead of 1. I equipped this on baby Luigi so he hits a little harder. I then grind out this gem game for longer than I'd like to admit, netting us the simple badge. This badge increases power of an attack item based on how small the stock is. I then equip this on baby Luigi, but I swap between this and the dynamic badge a few times. We reach the very bottom to find the Bowsers have teamed up and are ready to battle. The Bowsers are weak to ice, so I use them every turn I can. The moves the Bowsers use are incredibly fast. Fire moves in this game happen quickly, so I take a lot of damage and revive a lot at first. Prince Bowser will also launch King Bowser into us with a hammer. Should we correctly counter, King Bowser leaves us for a while so we can fight the prince in peace. Eventually, King Bowser returns though and it's back to business. Another annoying trait of this fight is that the prince will randomly heal the king for 100 hit points, which almost negates an entire turn for us. I use ice flowers and some of those red peppers to increase my damage. When the prince is alone, I use the chomps, and this is where I really hit my stride with making them the most efficient item in the game. We even get a female chomp, which is pretty rare, and I think the female chomp moves a tiny bit slower than the regular chomp, meaning we get a couple more hits in. After a hefty chomp beatdown, we knock the prince off, and then it's just the king left. Once he's down, we level up to 16, and let me take a minute here and just put on my little game theory cap. After watching this, I really think that the Bowser Jr. we know today is in fact Bowser from the past. Like, I don't think Prince Bowser ever acknowledges that we're going through time at any point, because he's just so focused on like stealing cookies and on himself. So I've got this little theory that Bowser took past Bowser from his time and just told him he's his son. Rant over. The Shroom mothership then shows up and takes us and Peach on board. Yeah, I'm fucked. I didn't know I'd get stuck here after the Bowser fight. I used a ton of items in the fight, and if another boss lies ahead, I can't waste any items on mobs. Speaking of mobs, there's this tight hallway I need to cross with all the team. One problem though. I die a lot. These guys are crazy powerful, and there are so many that I always get hit once, ensuring my game over. I managed to escape an onslaught with the boys though, and finally see the next area. It's crazy I was stuck in that one spot for so long because this ship isn't as big as I thought. Kylie saves us by blasting the ever-loving hell out of all the shrooms that surround us, even though every time we've seen her, we've done nothing to help her. We're ejected from the ship and in a Toad Town, or what's left of it. I'm glad there wasn't a boss, and thankfully the game left us a shop here. I sell off all the bros items I can't use, buy the Stardust pants for the babies, which will be the gear they wear for the rest of the game. This shop has red shells available. Red shells, unlike green, can go infinitely if you can keep the combo going. I fill up on chomps, ice flowers, and a few red shells. Then, finally purchase the safety badge. This badge reduces the damage both given and taken by a great amount. Toad Town is a bounty of items. I travel around getting everything I can and avoid nearly every battle. From this point on, I start using a strategy where I enter combat to down Baby Mario, and then run, leaving him at an automatic 1 HP for the next fight. We find a shortcut back to the sewers, giving us an easy out back to the castle should we need it. And then we enter Star Hill. Chapter 5. Bosses, bosses, bosses. The shards react to our new setting, meaning another piece must be close by. I avoid every encounter here and make it to the first bosses. It's a weird one. We have 3 shroobs hoisting up this giant bomb, and we must knock out the rear 2 so that the bomb rolls backwards and exposes the real boss. Using the peril strats, we pick off the shroobs super easily with shells, and then the commander shows up. We have a set amount of turns before he hides again, so I go for Ice Flower to drop his defense, and then we pummel him with shell attacks. At this point, my strategy is solid, with Baby Luigi being our healer, and Baby Mario staying in peril. The only tough part is putting him back into peril once we have to heal him. There are a lot of moves in this fight, and they aren't difficult at all to dodge. Well, except when he knocks shroobs into the air, because, my screen's on the right. A ton of shells later, we finally end the fight and get to level 17. The Star Spirit of the Shard manifests, and tells us we gotta collect the rest of the shards. And Baby Luigi cries because of this. Then we meet my favorite NPC, Giant Star Door. He's funny, I like him.
Stand before me. Speak no words. Open your heart. Yes. I see. Oh, what? Impossible. Yeah. No, amazing. Well. Red man of mustache. You are true and courageous. Your heart is filled with virtue. I do recommend you watch your diet, however, it is filled with too much Alfredo sauce. You should especially cut down on carbonara, though it will be hard, for that is very tasty. You curb your appetite, do some light cardio work, and continue to ward your brother, you will no doubt grow to be a figure of immense popularity, yet not grow an immense belly. I deem you most worthy to pass this gate, and recommend Puttanesca. That stuff is great.
He tells Luigi he kinda a bitch, and reminds him of the enema incident, so Luigi has to prove his strength of heart by finding the pride block. I avoid every battle in this area again, since most stuff floats here, and now Luigi must prove himself. He can't do it, so the Star Door asks us, who do we owe our progress to? So I correctly answer, the babies, and he lets us through, netting us our 4th shard. Just as we get it, the Toad from Yoshi's Island shows up with the 5th shard, but runs off terrified when he sees we've nearly finished the star. We give chase and he forces us to clean the shit off his drawing instead of just telling us what was on it. And here we learn the terrifying secret that Peach used the power of dicks to fight all— Oh, never mind. There are 2 Princess Shroobs. Way less exciting. We then engage in another boss battle, the Elder Shroob. This is a tough-ass fight. I do the same old using ice to drop defense, followed by shells and trying to keep Mario in peril. The attacks from the Shroob are fierce. He throws these yellow gems over you and you have to repeatedly jump to cause them to break, then avoid the incoming attacks. Then he does a spin move where you have to smack him a lot with the hammer to cause him to fail the attack. I never once hit him enough to fail this attack, so either I'm not doing enough damage or I just can't swing fast enough. Another move he does is throwing this spike ball that floats around us. If we hit it, he'll fall over for a bit, meaning we can use our chomps against him. I hold my own pretty well and get him into his next phase. Wait, next phase? I just spent 20 minutes on the first one! In his second phase, he does the same moves, but bigger, meaning one hit kills. Unfortunately, I lose the first turn that he changes. If this is the benchmark, I need to go and prepare. I head back to Peach's castle and get the EXP-A badge from Fawful, which increases EXP for finishing a battle with a bros item. I then sell all my useless items and stock up on red peppers and buy the regular EXP badge from the shop and equip it to both the bros. I fight my way back and level up to 18 and then swap back to my old badge setup. I handle the first phase the same, but much better knowing what the moves are. The babies are now doing the most damage they've done all game, easily getting us to phase 2. The main issue is the spin attack. I just cannot seem to stop it, but as long as one bro is alive, we can revive them. We stomp him with one final chomp attack and level up to 19, gaining the 5th piece of the star. Oh yeah, Kylie and Toadbert were they're turned into mushrooms. Final chapter. I spent more time here than the rest of the game. Back in the present, I restock our items. Egad tells us the final time hole is upstairs, so we head in to see what lies in wait. The star opens the path into Shroob Castle. This place is hell. It's very dense with enemies, and they're incredibly powerful with all hitting moves and crazy desperation attacks. There are a lot of neat puzzles as well. I spend majority of the time avoiding enemies and scouting what needs to be done before sending the adults in to dodge the encounters. There's a neat little UFO shooting minigame we do, and then we head into the sewers where Chain Chomp betrays the party and makes us take the long way. Fuck you. The encounters here are borderline impossible with the sheer number of enemies, and the fact most of them float, meaning we have no way to damage them much. Encounters here either mean death or a very, very long fight. We proceed through using every tool we've learned throughout the game, leaving a very satisfying feeling. I also find a nice little spot to grind. In these pipes are lit bob-ombs, who will first turn explode. If you manage to dodge, they automatically die, and it's a reliable way to farm EXP. After a couple more fun puzzles, I start sneaking around the main castle again as the babies to open more paths. Making our way up the castle, we find the cluster of "You Will Die" items. The final battle must be just ahead. The babies gather their courage and chase the Cobalt Star deep into Shroob Castle. At the innermost sanctum, we finally find Princess Peach, but are attacked by the mothership. Now it's our turn to fight back. With that nuisance out of the way, we get to the final battle. Princess Shroob. She is immensely powerful and tedious, boasting about 3,000 health, and a barrier we have to destroy to even hit her. This one is going to take all the stops to win. Ice flowers do not power her down, so that's out of the question. Her attacks are all very fast and require some slight difference in jumps for the babies. She one-shots us real quick, and I realize I'm just not ready for this yet, so I head out for a little grind session. First of all, I max out most of my items in the shop, spending all of my money. Then I toss on those XP badges and head to the Bob-omb spot in the sewers I told you about earlier. We get a measly 200 experience each fight, but it works out, and it's all I have right now. Well, until something unexpected happened. As I was returning to the castle to restock, I ended up in a fight with this bubble thing and a Shroob Rex. I was getting experience anyway, so every fight I got in I tried to win. Since the bubble was flying, I opted to kill the Rex, and then jump the bubble to death. It's then I found this exploit where if the Rex is dead and you damage the bubble, it will revive Rex at a very small amount of HP. Meaning we can do this over and over and over until we get a massive amount of experience. Much better than the Bob-omb method. Doing this, I power level in minimal time to level 24, giving baby Luigi a nice amount of HP. This time I won't lose. My strategy is set, and I am ready. I have a ton of red peppers, and my plan is to use them as well as Baby Mario's Peril to do as much damage as possible. Using Baby Luigi and the Chomp items, we can break the force field, then let Baby Mario attack. I need to use items with Baby Luigi sparingly because I equipped a new badge to him. This one makes us spend 4 items every time we use one, which puts him near Baby Mario's attack in terms of items. I only have a limited amount though, so I usually keep him to using peppers and green shells. Princess Shroob has some ferocious attacks. Inside her force field, she'll shoot these lasers that you either need to jump to avoid or stand still. When you jump, you have to jump at just the right time or you'll land too early and still take damage. She can also send this giant machine over you and shoot floor beams. You must jump over these beams to avoid them, and she'll finish off the move by slamming her throne into you. This attack is the one I abuse to keep Baby Mario in peril. Out of the barrier, she has a whole nother set of moves. She throws this star that gets faster and faster, and it won't stop until you jump on it. She teleports and shoots multiple varieties of beams. Near the end, she powers up and attacks for actual minutes before moving to your turn. With my chain chomp to break the barrier and Baby Mario stacking the damage, we finally managed to beat her after 50 minutes of battle. Finally beating partners in... Oh, it's not over yet. Let's get him, babies! The Elder Princess reveals herself from the star, and this fight is so much easier to deal with. She has the same amount of HP as her sister, but no barrier, and we can drop her stats. Also, Peach helps in this fight for better or worse. The Elder Princess will do an attack determined by how many UFOs are in the sky on her turn. Peach gives us a star and the chance to knock as many as we can down. I almost always miss them because I just don't know where to aim this freaking thing. All of her attacks are super easy to avoid or outright stop. The only thing prolonging the fight is the fact that Peach keeps healing me out of my peril strats. This forces me to get Baby Mario back into danger range. It doesn't take too long and we finally beat the game. Peach is so surprised she starts pogging. Another one. That's right. Yet another fight. And this one is the hardest yet. In all of my challenges, this was the single hardest battle I've ever had to do. It required near perfection. There's a lot to go over, so let me get to the anatomy of the boss first. First, let's start with her legs. They have this attack where they make you do a jump rope section. You have to jump over everyone to clear it. The legs have around 500 health, and will respawn with full health after a certain amount of turns. Once the legs are taken out, you can hit the crown on her head that has 300 health. Only when it is deactivated can you attack the Elder Princess and do more than 1 damage. She also has 4 arms she can just stab you with, and each one has maybe about 300 health. The worst part is all of these parts are technically airborne, which leaves us only the pocket chomps to use. A great item when you have 1 target, but now we have 6, and the odds of hitting the crown a lot are 1 in 6. Even if we kill the arms, they sprout right back almost immediately the next turn. The only way to do any decent damage is counterattacks. My best strategy was to use the red peppers every chance I could, knock out the legs, and then use the pocket chomp for some hopefully good RNG to hit the crown. Once deactivated, her own UFO attack will do the most damage if I can knock them all back, but 1 hit, however, nearly ensures death. This battle will require everything I have, so come on, babies, let's do this!
Go, go! Let's go!
2.5 hours later, we finally beat her. After running out of nearly every item and shipping every last bit of health, we finally beat Partners in Time using only the babies. I can say without a doubt that this is the single longest battle I've ever had to endure. That whole gauntlet took me about 4 hours to beat, with no shortage of game overs, until I had figured out the fight perfectly and avoided just about every attack. But it's done. I did it. Now we can say Partners in Time is absolutely beatable with only the babies. Oh, for fuck's sake. Fine, I got one more in me. Bowser's possessed by the Elder Princess, but for this fight, we don't get a turn. It's all about counterattacking, baby. And I just spent a good amount of time doing just that. I learned the moveset and die to switch Baby Mario's badge to the safety badge. We do some expert dodging, and near the end, Baby Luigi goes down and we win. No, this isn't right. We either do this together, or we don't do it at all. After we win, the cast thank the babies for doing all the hard work and send them back to their times. And that, my friends, is how I beat Mario and Luigi Partners in Time, using only the babies. I gotta say, as difficult as this challenge was, it really didn't take nearly as long as some of the other things I've done on this channel. A lot of skill is involved with this game, and honestly, it was just as fun as I remember it being. Unique battling, very fun puzzles, and great dialogue make this a must-play game. It's too bad we never got a remake of this, but who knows, at the rate we get remakes now, maybe it's only a matter of time. This was definitely a fun one, and I want to thank you all for watching all the way through. If you were a fan of what you saw, check out my other videos, because there's plenty more where this came from. Feel free to support me by either subscribing to the YouTube, or donating $1 on Patreon for first access and a mention at the end of my videos, or, like this video, in the middle. Thank you so much for all of your support, and remember, stay cozy, everyone.